Live from Las Vegas, broadcasting around the world. You're listening to Up is Higher Than Down with L.A. Walker. L.A. Walker. Raw and unfiltered conversations on how to give life's challenges the finger. Truth is your passport to emotional freedom. Give an eviction notice to negativity. Dump yesterday's garbage. Learn how to be positive, energized, healthy, and alive during these insanely unpredictable times. Look up, get up, stay up. Then help somebody else to get up. Remember, any part of up is higher than down. Now, broadcasting hope to the world, L.A. Walker.
If you are a regular Up is Higher Than Down podcast listener, then you already know that I'm going to say that I am just so very grateful to be here to embrace another day, and that my job, because I've been given this marvelous gift of life, is to live it, and that I am on my job because living is the very best job I've ever had. Before I continue with today's podcast, I want to pause and acknowledge the family members, the loved ones, co-workers, spouses, girlfriends, boyfriends, aunties, uncle, cousins of the persons who make up that total number of 500,000 that have passed in the United States from COVID-19 alone, not counting all of the other deaths from stress, from cancer, from diabetes, and from various other conditions that have passed in this last year. It is no doubt a very stressful and painful time for you. And if you find that you are having difficulty getting through your day consistently, day in and day out, please don't attempt to walk the journey alone. Reach out to other people. Reach out to a therapist. Reach out to a church. Reach out to someone that you can talk with, that will talk back to you and help you remain anchored. Please, please do that. And to the rest of us, please wear your mask. Please practice social distancing. If your health permits, please consider getting vaccinated and getting the job done. We're going to make it through this thing when we work together as one. We spend a lot of time thinking about ourselves, and that's good because we are our first responders. When something is going on in our world, we're the first ones to know and the first ones responsible to take action if possible. So it's good to wake up and look in the mirror and say, I love you. I am healthy, I am happy, I am successful, I am prosperous, I'm creative, I'm good, I'm kind. And it's wonderful to have all of those things, but we also need to say to ourselves, I have all of these mental, spiritual, and financial assets, not just to have them unto myself, to glorify in myself. I have these things to make a contribution to the world. And the best and highest use for everything that you've said to yourself is to give unto others as needed. Be of service. And today I have a friend with me, James Santana, who's devoted a greater portion of his life to service. James is a University of California, Los Angeles graduate where he studied political science. He currently is the Membership Outreach Co-Chair for the Human Rights Campaign Los Angeles and Commissioner of Cultural and Recreation for the City of Montebello. James is looking forward to working with people to focus on communication, clarity, and connection. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well. Thank you so much for asking. I've been doing really good. Really good.
So what's been your journey during this COVID time?
My journey has been very interesting. I was actually a year ago today on a trip in Europe.
Oh.
I started to hear about all the stuff that was changing in Italy and all the other countries that were surrounding where I was in Europe.
Oh.
And when I returned back, I basically returned back off a plane into a totally new America.
Yes.
And I was formerly a retail manager at a very large big box retailer. And we were in the middle of a pandemic. We had everybody at our doors looking and coming to us for essential items. There were so many people that were struggling to find the basic necessities that they needed for their health and their wellness and their personal care. And it was a scary time, obviously, for the government to shut down.
Sure.
But it was at the beginning. In that beginning part of the journey, I ended up deciding that I needed to do something different, and I needed to leave this arena so that I can see if I can help some more people. And that's the start of my pandemic journey.
What avenue did you select to begin helping other people?
So I've always been involved in public service, in politics, nonprofit organizations. But my main focus has been corporations this last decade, a little over the decade. But my avenue now is definitely going to be coaching, consulting, and advising people and businesses and organizations on how to shift their mindset a little bit more to the positive. This is why I love you showcasing this type of true messaging and helping others and moving away from negativity. So this is exactly what I'm going to do.
James, I'm glad. And I've always remembered seeing you devote your time to the Human Rights Campaign. And I think that's how we actually met at one of the events years ago. Right now, I started out, I actually have another podcast in the works, and it's called LA Socially Speaking. And, because I have the nonprofit Social Issues Theater, I wanted to attack some of the issues that are being presented today politically, from a gender perspective, a female perspective. And then after I got ready to launch it, and I realized that, there's so many people stirring the pot. You can stir the pot. You can talk about negativity all day long, and people just glue to that. But at the end of the day, and especially right now, I think that we all need a breath of fresh air. We need to know that someone cares and that there's hope and that we're going to survive this and other things, because realistically, I don't know about you, but I had a whole lot of other issues going on in my life before the pandemic. And so this is just on top of the other issues. How about you?
Yeah, actually, you are hitting the nail on the head. I think that we are seeing and having a pandemic basically expose all of the fibers and frameworks that we thought was to be the norm and what we thought to be acceptable. But when you talk about negativity, we need to be mindful that the negativity isn't starting from the pandemic. All of us are going to have different things that were in our lives before that came up now and that we're going to have to deal with in the future. I think that everyone needs to find that alignment in themselves and find how that negativity mindset is actually framing them on an individual level. And I think that if you haven't been able to come up with some sort of better system, routine, or even goals, like future goals during this pandemic, you're not going to come out on the best end. And then I think those of us that are practicing mindfulness, that those of us that are practicing exercise and finding the overall alignment in ourselves, I think we're going to be the ones that are going to be able to help people. And that's all it's about, is we got to help each other. Again, a huge exposure is us being able to help each other.
Absolutely. I guess we were all excited to have a breath of newness with the new president and vice president and what all that could mean. But I think that we become so dependent on the government to step in and change and protect our lives totally. So the government can issue us opportunities to receive the vaccination. The government can send us stimulus money. But when it comes down to exercising goodwill toward our fellow Americans, that's on us. We have to be the ones to be concerned if someone is eating, if they need to go to the doctor, if someone needs to sit with mom who has Alzheimer's, if somebody needs a ride or they need food because there's a lot of food insufficiency. And so I think this is a time that we really, really, really are going to have to dig in and understand that we collectively are going to make this better or worse.
Yes, I agree 100%. With that being said, I really feel like one of the latest analogies or comments that I've been talking to people has really been the whole, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I think your example that you're saying is definitely what is going on with a lot of people. But we need to be mindful again that there are so many people that are being led to the water. They're just forgetting how to drink. There's so many people that are being led to the water. They're so stuck on the point of fear. And I think that that's, again, what you saw happen during this whole pandemic is a huge exposure of fear.
Oh, yes.
And fear is that false evidence appearing real. I love using those type of abbreviations and those type of wordings, but fear, it really is that. And we need to start being empowered to choose love over fear.
Definitely. I think we have to also understand that each one of us has a leadership role and not just be focused on waiting for another leader to speak to us.
Right.
Right. So, and the first place that we start is within ourselves.
Yes.
It's really easy, and it's so predictable of us to look outside of ourselves and see the deficiencies in someone else. But when we turn that mirror and look at it realistically, we realize, wow, it's a lot of changing I need to do in order to conquer my own life. And then after I work on that a little bit more, I'll be able to reach out and help someone else. So you made a post the other day. Tell me about that post. What prompted you to share that information?
Yeah, you're probably referring to a little bit of my transition, or
Yes.
Now what I'm trying to model as the optimistic living or optimistic lifestyle. And it basically was a post of me sharing the transformation of me getting back into a very uncomfortable setting back home in California, where I'm currently at in Los Angeles, and the transition of 4 months where it took me looking at this before and after picture for me to realize that, wow, I have been rocking it out. The glow up is real, and me focusing on my body, me focusing on my mind, and right in between them two aligning to help my heart and just the openness that I have now. That's what the post was about, is that we need to have an optimistic mindset, and we need to start an optimistic living journey in order for us to start seeing these transformations.
Right, and that looks different for everyone. I've been looking at a lot of people that are really, really embracing that same mindset that you're expressing now, where they've just become absolutely determined that they're going to be positive and they're going to find ways to come into their greater self and not be overwhelmed by what's going on. And I think that's awesome.
Yes, I agree. And again, I'm going to give kudos to you and promoting this type of stuff and these type of words and these type of energy, because if everyone really would just take a second and close their eyes and be mindful that we're like Jenga pieces. When you're playing Jenga and you're setting up the game, it's so much more difficult to build that tower, especially if you don't have the mold, especially if you don't have other people helping you, especially if you don't remember how to set the game up. It's so difficult. Now breaking down the Jenga game and making that tower fall, it's so easy. And it gives you the life perspective of, again, it's so much harder to build people up and build things up, and it's so easy to tear them down. And unfortunately, I'm afraid that that's the tradition, that's the culture, that's the norm for us, not only in the States, but just in general, in all dynamics. It's easier to break things down than it is to build people up. And you and I and other people, like, we're going to do the work. And again, we're going to lead people to the water, but people need to drink. They need to drink to survive.
Absolutely. But, sometimes so many things happen. It seems so simple to say, just take a drink. But a lot of people, James, have lost a lot of things. And I'm going to go with loved ones. I was thinking just this morning that 500,000 people have passed away. 500,000 Americans have passed. And that in itself is a huge number. But the undiscussed number that's even greater is that at a minimum, these individuals had perhaps at a minimum 2 family members, 2 community people in their neighborhood that knew them, 2 church members, 2 political affiliates. So at least 10 people know and are affected by the passing of one of these people. Now that's 5 million. So now you have 5 million people at a minimum that are feeling this anxiety. They're feeling the fear that it could be me. They're feeling the absence and the security of that person that they cared about. And they are traveling through the day with that energy. They're bagging your groceries. They're your attorneys. They're teaching your kids. They're doing everything in life with that energy. That's a lot, James. So we have to help people rebuild themselves so that they can feel like taking a drink, so they can think it's worth taking a drink. Because a lot of people are clocking out mentally. They're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, and I do send my condolences. The 500 that literally has just been announced. It's a margin of the number that are going to be greatly impacted, whether it be the current conditions that they have, or they're going to have larger health care issues. And it's no surprise that it's going to affect the families. It's going to affect people's jobs as it's affected mine. It's going to affect the recreation and the routines that people put in place. And most importantly, it's going to impact the overall bigger, larger dreams. But you also touched on a couple things, the people's energy, the anxiety, the security. Those are serious things that, yes, we've looked to government before, but again, we need to start looking in and around ourselves for those answers. And it's not going to be easy. Nobody's experience is expected to be easy in this process, but we have to start supplying people with resources. We have to start giving people the knowledge. We have to start giving people the tools and the channels. And so a lot of this optimistic living, it's not just I do a couple months of work and then things change. It really is coming up with a strategy, coming up with a routine, coming up with a lifestyle change where those words that we share, they have energy. And we just want to choose a different perspective of where to put that energy. I believe it's going to all be about perspective. I believe that in the sadness, in the hardship, in the trial and error, there will be a gift that people are able to take from their opportunities, from their experiences, and they're going to be able to run with it. I can't for sure say what they are, but I'd really like to help people find out.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things that I'm noticing, even with myself, is that I have become, through my journey of loss, I have become more transparent, deliberately transparent, because if I'm going to be in the amount of emotional pain that I'm in, and I know that others are as well, I want to say or do anything that will help someone get through that day. We have a group called Up is Higher Than Down, And I've been, I don't know, operating this group now maybe 3 or 4 months, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's amazing to me that the group that meets there every day, post something positive, or we enter into a discussion. And I was thinking, wow, what if it wasn't there? And so my point is, we all can do a little bit of something that will make our days better and the people around us better, the world better.
Yes, definitely.
Hold your thought, James. I have to flip the script for a moment. We'll be right back after this. I am so excited to tell you that my book, Seeing Beyond the Mess, is almost at your door. It's going to be presented in a very creative manner because I'm surrounded by creative geniuses that are going to make it happen. Stay tuned. I will let you know. I am so excited.
You're listening to Up is Higher Than Down with L.A. Walker.
So where do you go from here? What are you starting on right now?
So the new thing is that I'm digging my roots back into my community. I just was appointed a Recreation and Culture Commission position here in the city of Montebello, California, where I'm from.
Awesome.
And I'm just so excited for the opportunities that in just the last 4 or 5 months that I've been back. Although my family has been here since 1991, now I'm able to come back and I'm able to give back to my family, to my friends, to my community. And that's really what life is about, is giving back. And I'm looking forward to it.
That is really great. That is so awesome. But, when we open ourselves up to be utilized and to provide a service, things become available to us. The tools become available for us to do that, through that desire. So that's awesome. Are you still working with the Human Rights Campaign?
Yes, I am. I am with the Human Rights Campaign, and again, a great organization. I was with them in Las Vegas when we met, and then I transferred over to Phoenix, Arizona. Unfortunately, it was also during the pandemic, and we were able to see two things there that I hope everyone does acknowledge, is that these very red, purplish, almost blue states, they changed. Yes. And we had an impact.
That's great.
It says something. Both states now have Democrat senators. No matter what you align, I think that all LGBTQ people need to know that we have equality-minded individuals that are going to help us and advocate for us. And then now that I'm in California, I am doing membership outreach here with the Human Rights Campaign Los Angeles. So I'm very excited to get back in the community and support LGBTQ people.
That's great. Now,
yes.
We have a tremendous amount of homelessness among our community here in Las Vegas. How is it in Montebello?
Yeah, so Montebello is a part of East Los Angeles, also between San Gabriel, and then also in between of what most of this area is called gateway cities. So it's a very unique spot. Montebello does not have a large homeless population, but we are surrounded by areas that are less fortunate. And you are seeing a lot of the difficulties with not many resources provided for homeless people or those that don't have a roof over their head. So I believe it's going to get worse before it can get better. And again, small steps, hopefully, impacts that you and I and people can make. We need to start yesterday. We should have started yesterday on them. But I will say that two things are going to be very alarming and need to be on people's radar. We have the FIFA World Cup that's going to be hosted around this area. And we also have the Summer Olympic Games that are going to be coming up. This is not going to be better for homeless people. As much as we, admirize and we love sports, this is actually going to be very, very tough on the community, especially those that are homeless. So we need to start again shifting our mindset and our framework to how do we help in the times when we're helping to set up a sports venue and a sports arena. how are we going to help set up homeless and affordable housing?
Wow, it's a daunting task, really. It's just so huge, and it's huge, seemingly everywhere. It's not, just Las Vegas or Los Angeles areas. It's really everywhere. Even in Reno, I went to Reno year before last, and I was anxious to go on the Riverwalk because I had never been to Reno. And I got there, and it was just homeless people lining the Riverwalk. And it was like, really? This is sad. What do we do? The thought occurred to me then, and even now, that the homeless people on the street, first of all, let me say that any of us could be homeless at any given time because things happen. And I think that we need to understand that. But also, what is it that we can do to get the families involved of the homeless people, because these people belong to someone?
Yeah, I totally empathize with that, and I understand. I do want to point out that some of them do not have family. In some instances, if we're going to focus on those that do, I think, again, that's a part of where do we seek our government and or our community to help out. So you're starting to see a lot of local municipalities, a lot of the cities that are stepping up and making these city ordinances and decisions and opening up resources where the county and the state should be more involved. I don't think anyone really understands the real impact that homelessness has on multiple fronts: the schooling, the housing, the framework of a community. I think we start there. I think we start in our cities. I think we take it to local city councils. We take it to county. We take it to elected leaders. And the next step, I believe, would be family. And we remind families that what part in their life are they in? How can they support? What resources do they need as a family? We're going to see this only, again, get worse before it gets better with the staggering numbers of people that will be impacted by the virus.
Well, I can say, James, that I'm glad that you're out there on the battlefield in mind, body, and spirit, doing what you can do to make the area better where you are and any place that you go, actually. Is there anything that you'd like to share with the audience before we part?
Yeah, I definitely would like to share to keep going, keep exercising. This isn't just the idea of exercising your body. I usually set a goal of 30 minutes a day of just some sort of movement, but we also need to exercise our mind. So what brain activity are you doing? What brain exercises are you doing? And once you focus on your body, once you focus on your mind, your heart is going to thank you, and it's going to be so much more open. So find that alignment, stay optimistic, and let's make the world a better place.
I love you for that, and I love what you're doing, and I just encourage you to stay on the battlefield and continue your transition. We're counting on your leadership styles to help us through these days.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you. I love everything that we've done together. I love everything that we have done even separately, because I think that we just have that same goal, period, is love. More of it. More love.
We do, sweetheart. Take care.
You take care. Thank you.
Whatever podcast network you listen to Up is Higher Than Down on, please, please, please take the time to rate and leave a comment. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to remember that you are important.
Listen to Up is Higher Than Down with L.A. Walker every day. To follow up, make comments, discuss today's podcast, or find out how you can become a guest and share your victory over a negative life event, follow L.A. Walker. Up is Higher Than Down on Facebook. Look up, get up, stay up. Remember, any part of up is higher than down.